Welcome to the future, where the glass is half full and you'll need new glasses, where you'll be jumping from conclusions.
The past is annulled, and a new future is born.
Never before in history has so much meant so little to so many. AD on the radio.
It's you and the senorita, whoop a blowing up the tweeter, cause it's me up in the speaker. Back in the mama seat, top down like a player, and the sound up in your ears, it is the dopest rhyme, say I run a game like a cheater.
You know, there's a bunch of stuff that we're going to talk about on the show today. I mean, it is Iowa caucuses, the Iowa caucus, rather. By the way, Funkhauser, you know where we get the name caucus from?
Giggity giggity? I don't know.
No, it's an Algonquin word. It's sort of like an Algonquin word that I think means meeting of the tribes. So there's that. And there's some dirty tricks that the Democrats are playing on each other. Hillary Clinton did this to Bernie Sanders, and Bernie Sanders went, that's a sad state of affairs that they'd find it necessary to do that, and then did the same thing to Hillary Clinton. What is it? It's an interesting one. We'll get into it later on in the show. I think the most important thing that we have to deal with today, though, I mean, despite the fact that it is the first real major event in the run-up to pulling the lever for democracy and electing a new president of these United States of America and leader of the free world, despite the fact that that is happening tonight, what takes precedence is the fact that our very own super producer to the stars, Barry Funkhauser, was pranked on television by Jay Leno and David Spade, and it is awesome. Did I tweet out the link yet, Funkhauser, so people can watch it? Because we have questions. We have questions.
Oh, Barry Funkhauser. He's mighty, makes the girls go yowzer. Barry Funk.
So if you get a chance to check it out, watch the video maybe during one of the breaks of super producer to the stars, Barry Funkhauser, getting pranked by Jay Leno and David Spade.
It airs tonight on True TV, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of genius, and it's kind of awesome. And when Funkhauser told me it had happened to him, I was like, he's like, dude, I got pranked by Jay Leno and David Spade. I was like, okay, Mr. Hollywood, sure. And he's like, no, it actually happened. And then I saw it really did.
Embarrassing.
And yeah, we saw an ugly, nasty, aggressive side of Jay Leno that
if he only knew.
Hitherto has been unexposed. And like, how tall is Jay Leno? Like, he's a big guy, right?
I'm 5'9". He's up there.
He's like 6'3", something like that. I think he's an extraordinarily tall, physically imposing guy, and he looked like he was. He did a very convincing job of coming across like a guy that was going to take a swing at you. So we'll play some key pieces of audio of Barry Funkhauser getting pranked by Jay Leno and David Spade in a little bit. Right now, though, let me ask you this: when was the last time you spoke to your parents? Do you call them often? These are complex relationships that we have with our folks. Some people are like, I talk to my parents every single day. Say goodnight to my mom every single night on the phone. And that seems a scotch unhealthy. And then some people have no relationship whatsoever with their parents. And there's all sorts of different flavors of relationships with parents. My dad lives in Kosovo. And the night guy that works on one of the stations I work for came in to my studio not so long ago, and I can't remember how the topic came up, but me and my dad have a really good relationship. We talk pretty often. Digital technology has made that significantly easier. Like that Facebook chat thing, man, that works so much better than Skype. It's really given our relationship a new dimension. And as much as I like to make fun of Mark Zuckerberg for any number of things, he's definitely sort of helped my my sense of closeness to my pops as he lives out his life in former war-torn Yugoslavia for reasons that we've discussed in the past and we don't have time to get into today. But I remember this guy came in and he was like, hey, is your dad still living in Kosovo? I was like, yeah. He's like, you need to get him over here. I was like, well, we kind of have our own thing. He's like, no, this is what family's about. And it was interesting. This guy was about to have a kid or had just had a kid. And I felt like he was dumping all kinds of his personal baggage into my life. And it turned out he kind of sort of was. But it made me think a little bit about our relationships with our parents and what works and what doesn't. And we'll get into some of that next. Thank you so much for hanging out.
Let's start the show. Hot 2, hot 3, hot AZ from your radio live and uncut. Tonight, you're cutting loose and having fun. Cause that's my job and my job's about to get done. Yeah, that's how I'm operating. And I'll thank motherfucker for cooperating. When I say, put your hands up, touch the sky. If you're really feeling really good, then waving from side to side. It's time for a little rebellion. And this hellion in front of you is telling you the things you gotta do. Check 1, 2, is this thing live? Cause it's time for the party and the first stage dive.
Where the left and right come together for fundamental truths. AD on the radio, on Twitter at ADSXE.
I do what I want, when I want, how I want. Every day you're going and working, running that rat race at that pace and that place will leave a bad taste for anyone, everyone working day after day. So buddy, I gotta say, for you, there's gotta be a better way. Yeah, and you do what they told ya. Company man, feel it, a mindless little soldier. How can you live like that and maintain your composure before it's begun? Your life's already freaking over. Yeah.
So we have complex relationships with our parents for any number of reasons. Here's comedian Vladimir Kamano on errands that he'd have to run for his dad.
And the worst thing is that my father sends me to get supplies for him. He calls me over, he's like, blah, blah, blah. Dad, what do you want? Mira, go to the Home Depot, tell him you want a 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, what? And you can't say no to an immigrant parent. Anytime you say no to an immigrant parent, they hit you with the debt, right? I said, Dad, I'm not gonna go. Mira, I gave you life! Like, all right. I'm a grown man, but I'm still paying that debt off. So now I gotta go to the Home Depot with this prescription. Right? I go to the Home Depot, I walk in, the guy comes to me, he's like, hey, what do you need? I'm like, I need your help. He's like, come over here, what do you need? I need a 2, 3, 4, 5, followed by a troop, come over here, whoa! And the guy looks at me and says, you know what? Let me go get Carlos, I'll be right back, give me a second.
So like I said, we have interesting and different and complex relationships with all of our family, but our parents specifically. A little while ago, like I said, a coworker of mine, the night guy at one of the stations I work for, came in, and my father lives in Kosovo. He moved there to do human rights work about 10 years ago, maybe a little over a decade, since my dad moved to Kosovo. And you know what? My dad was a guy that worked in oil and gas in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And he's also kind of a hippie. And those two things are kind of diametrically opposed. So I think he found real value in helping a country find its version of democracy after terrible tragedy and difficult times. And that's what he likes to do. That's what he finds meaning in that, tremendous meaning in that. And how could you not? It's moving the ball of humanity down the field. But it means he's pretty far away. He's not just a hop, skip, and a jump away. It's a long flight, a long couple of flights if he wants to visit, or if we would want to visit him. And I'd spoken about this to my buddy, the guy that worked at the radio station, a couple times, and it didn't really register that it was that big of a deal to him. We were just talking about life. And then one day, I can't remember how it came up. But we were chatting, and suddenly the conversation took a turn about how I had to get my dad back here in America, and how we had to be in close physical proximity, and how this was an essential part of life, and this is what you do, and you have to. I had to kind of sort of draw a line. And let my buddy know, hey, that might work for you. But you know what? I've spent a good portion of my life not living in the same country as most of my immediate family. Is it ideal? Is it how I would have wanted things? Maybe, maybe not. But you know what? It's my life and it's how it's gone. And there are parts of it that I love and parts of it that I don't, but it's life. You don't always live to the night guy at your rock station standards, dude. And he was like, but you have to. I was like, no, you think I have to. And maybe you have some stuff that you're working out that's causing you to dump whatever this is, this rather sort of, like aggressive baggage on me. It was an interesting experience. And like, I hate pulling on the boss card, and I didn't have to, but it was definitely an interesting one and a real eye-opening one in terms of human relationships. And I thought more than the fact that this guy was in my bubble telling me how to live my life, I thought, where is this coming from? I thought, this guy's having a baby, or he just had a baby. I can't remember. And he wasn't necessarily all that stoked about his relationship with his pops. And he was, I am sure, going through all sorts of trials and tribulations about how it's going to be growing up with his kid, his beautiful baby boy, his beautiful, perfect, unspoiled baby boy that had just come into the world. And he was maybe dealing with some of the places in life where he thought his father had failed him. And it was eating him alive. And I couldn't hold that against him. I couldn't hold it against him that he was trying to repair something in himself by recognizing that he couldn't control his relationship with his own father. And therefore trying to assert some influence over my relationship with mine. When we're out of control, we seek things that we can control or can have some influence over. And we attempt to control them, or we attempt to influence them. And that makes us feel better about that which we cannot. And I couldn't hold it against him. And it just made me think, wow, relationships with our parents, they are complicated things. And you really don't know what tomorrow brings or tomorrow promises. You have no idea. So I guess what I'm saying, basically, is that while you have a moment, you got a parent in your life, you're lucky enough that they're still around, maybe reach out to them. Tell them how you feel. Mom, Dad, I love you. The Iowa caucus and Funkhauser getting pranked by Jay Leno next.
Like most kids from a privileged white upper-middle-class suburban background, for a significant portion of his childhood, he was pretty convinced he was down. AD on the radio.
Yeah, oh, let's go. Talking that mess, better act like you know. Oh, let's go tonight. Walk away, punk, yeah, bitch. That's right, I know this. You're nothing but a punk, bitch. You're nothing but a punk, bitch. So walk away, yeah.
Real quick on parenting. One last thing. Funkhauser, were you disciplined as a child?
Don't make me get the switch. Sometimes.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever have to go cut your own switch?
Once or twice.
Really?
Yeah.
What were you? Give me an example of an occasion
I don't
where you
remember.
asked to go cut a switch.
Once or twice in my whole life, I think I got into Grandpa's record collection and used them as frisbees. That was a big deal.
You know what? If you did that to me now, I'd probably make you go cut a switch.
So mad at young Funk for doing that.
Like, make it thin and stingy. You and I know what's about to happen next.
That'd whip me too.
Oh, man. Comedian Larry Miller did an interesting bit on disciplining kids.
We drive our kids as nuts as we are. If we're spoiled, they're going to be even more spoiled. You know, my kids are at the point now where how do you even discipline them? What are they going to even say to their kids as a threat? You know, when I was your age, we didn't have jetpacks. We drove to school. We had black Escalades, and we were damn glad to have them. Some of my friends couldn't afford the spinning wheels. It still fills me with rage.
All righty then. Let's get. We got Iowa caucus stuff to talk about. The dirty trick that Hillary is playing on Bernie Sanders, and then Sanders' whole team went. It's a sad, pathetic state of affairs, and very telling about the Clinton campaign that they would find that to be necessary, and then they went and did the same thing to her. What was it? We'll get into that a little later on in the show, and we got to talk news, what's going on in the world, but most importantly today. Pretty much the highlight of our week this week, and perhaps even the year, because how often does something like this happen? Funkhauser did a little bit of television with Jay Leno and David Spade.
No makeup.
No, they got to wear makeup, though, right?
Of course they did.
Yeah, you did.
Me, not so much. Turkey neck galore,
so
too. Holy guacamole.
You had what galore?
Turkey neck, I think. They make me keep looking down at an angle, and it makes it look like you have no chin. I actually do have a chin, ladies and gentlemen, but it doesn't seem like that on TV.
The people I've showed it to think you photograph very nicely, Funkhauser. Think you look good on camera.
Thanks.
So let's set this up a little bit, shall we? Funkhauser, you got selected to go prank Jay Leno as part of this new prank TV show called Star Slam, was it?
Yeah, I was going for this audition to be a host for a TV show, one of the 20 pilots they told me they were working on, and where I would be a host and I would be pranking a celebrity.
And so you find out that you're going to go prank Jay Leno.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you got the audio of when you meet Jay Leno?
Yeah, here it is. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Jay's going to be at his garage. Everyone knows he's got this unbelievable garage and knows a lot about cars.
He thinks he's pranking me, but actually we're pranking him. Is that it?
We're going to try to make a car not start.
David Spade and the producer of the show and Jay Leno hatching an evil plot on our unwitting super producer to the stars, Barry Funkhauser. Now, let me ask you this. Did they tell you to break out your impersonation of Jay Leno when you met him, or is that something that you riffed off the cuff?
I totally riffed it. You know?
Let's and you know what? Here's the thing: you do it pretty spot on, Jay Leno.
Really?
I'm not sure that this was the best example.
I thought
of
I've done
though.
better. Yeah,
I thought you've done better too. I was like, oh, he's going to break out the impersonation. I think it's great, and I think your nerves might have gotten the better of you a little bit. But I love how you explain the theory of your impersonation of Jay to Jay. He's the part where you tell him you go up and down, and that's how you do an impersonation of him. Let's hear that.
So what are we talking about?
Well, we got a couple of questions for you. First off, how many cars do you have here?
Oh, boy, there's a bunch of cars here.
I can't help when you talk, though, to do my impression of you. Is that okay?
You do an impression of me. All right, go ahead.
Well, sometimes you go up and down like this. So, hey, we're here looking at cars today, and I didn't bring my stage today, but, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, we're certainly off to a rollicking start.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you're so good at it too. So did anybody have any idea what you do? Like, it was just like this casting that you got on? Because like Funkhauser does this. He lives in Hollywood. I guess if we all lived in Hollywood, what do you want to do? I don't know. Want to apply to be on a game show? Want to apply to be part of a new pilot? Sure, because you can do that. It's like going to Walmart and what the hell do people do in Walmarts at 2:00 in the morning? I don't know, but I was unfortunate enough to be there the other day, and I was like, people are just here hanging out. They're not shopping. They're just here. Like, I needed, I wasn't proud of the fact that I was there. I just needed bananas, a car battery, and some colored pencils. And where else are you going to get that all in one place at 3 in the morning? And I realized people are just hanging out there. That's their version of hanging out in Hollywood, going and, auditioning for shows. But they had no idea that you're a broadcaster at this.
They didn't ask me a lot of questions in the beginning. They kind of kept their distance from me. I mean, now I know why. I was like, usually people are a lot more friendlier. But no, everyone's like no one wanted to spoil the fact that I was about to be duped. So, I got none of that pre-interview.
So they just saw you as a patsy. They didn't realize that you had... I bet they might not have selected you for this if they'd known that, this is what you do every single day. You work with some of the biggest broadcasters in the world, and me. And, you're kind of part of their realm.
I think they picked me because I am cool, calm, and collective around celebrities, because I am, work around them all the time. So
really?
Yeah, I think that they really thought... Because I thought it was real, There's no way they would give it to some rando nobody. I mean,
Interesting.
I believed the hype.
Well,
embarrassingly enough.
One thing that happened was like, you always see Jay Leno on TV and he comes across as this rather affable individual. We get a taste of what not so nice Jay Leno must be like, and we get a taste of maybe what...
I got the unbleeped version.
You got the unbleeped version, which is kind of crazy. Let's hear Jay Leno get mad at Funkhauser after Funkhauser, as part of the prank, sets his car on fire.
That should not have happened.
Somebody pinched the fuel line and the back pressure caused the...
That wasn't supposed to happen. That wasn't on there before.
What do you think we should do?
Hey, guy. Hey, Barry.
1 second.
Should we lie? Should we not say anything? No.
Come here!
We're coming right there. I got
come
production stuff.
Hey,
We got microphone problems.
get over here.
All right, so what are you going to do? Okay.
What is this?
I don't know.
I
You
know.
went to the bathroom and you came back, and I didn't see it. He pulled me in the back there, and I didn't really...
No, obviously somebody blocked the fuel line so it wouldn't start. Okay, big joke. But it split and it flooded the...
And it caused fire.
Yeah, that's why this is all melted. Did you put this on here?
Not me. No.
Not you.
The lies.
I didn't-
Did you put this on here?
No.
What's the matter with you?
Yeah,
And he's a big
laugh it
guy.
up there. It was scary.
He's really in your bubble. Funkhauser, you're like 5'9"?
5'9", yeah. 5'9" and 3/8.
5'9" and 3/8. And let's see, Jay Leno. How tall is Jay Leno? Like 6'3", something like that. He's a big, imposing guy with, let's be real here, an enormous head, which was right up in your face. Like, were you actually kind of like borderline terrified? Holy
dude,
crap!
I was so scared for a minute, and then once it started getting way out of hand, I'm like, listen, nobody with this kind of stature is gonna beat me up. There's all these.
You're not going to beat me
cars.
up on camera.
At some point Hollywood kicks in. It's like, okay, this is a ruse.
Oh, really? You started to figure out it was a ruse partway through?
Yeah, at some point. My girlfriend says you can tell when I figure out that that it's all fake, but I can't.
Do we have the piece of audio where you say, like, you announce that he's on this prank show and you say you've been star slammed, like that's supposed to mean something? Because hold on, let's take a listen to what we hear next.
You've been star slammed.
What?
You've been slammed.
Been
Talking
slammed.
about? Really? No, you've been slammed. Come over here. Why don't we start the car up again and you can put your face in the fire, okay?
Okay, now,
Huh?
Jay.
Come on, you guys.
Easy. It's a joke.
Is this supposed to be a prank on me? Is that what this is? Is that what it is? See, I have my own show. It's called Fameless, where we bring idiots in and we put the prank on them.
the maniacal Jay Leno laugh.
The maniacal Jay Leno laugh. And, like, if you haven't watched the video yet, please watch it, because where he starts laughing at Funkhauser, like, I got to be honest with you, it sort of looks like he's behind Funkhauser, grabs him by the shoulders, and he's like, ah! And it kind of looks like he's about to have his way with an unwitting Funkhauser. It really does. It looks uncomfortable
on his
for
way
all
out.
Concerned.
Right after we wrapped, I guess they call it. 2 minutes later, he left the place in like a motorcycle with a side carriage from like the 40s. With a matching helmet on, bright orange.
Nice.
Right down the street. That was the end of Jay.
And Spade came out afterwards too. He's like, and then you did an impersonation of David Spade. But what you see, like, you kind of got the impersonation of David Spade wrong as well, because you just like all you got to do is be Funkhauser.
Yeah.
I remember, like, the first time I met Funkhauser, someone was like, "What's your new producer like?" I was like, "He sounds exactly like David Spade." Like, laugh, Funkhauser. See? Do yourself a favor, watch the video of
tonight at 10 Eastern on True TV, or check our links. Our Twitter.
Yeah. When you're done with the Iowa caucus.
Yeah, flip on over.
Yeah, watch Funkhauser get star slammed by Jay Leno and David Spade.
Yeah. Embarrassing. Let me just say that. Gosh.
Great stuff. What you do for this show. Oh,
Thank you.
Fantastic. All right. We'll talk about the Iowa caucus in just a little bit. Right now, though, let's get into the events of today in our segment, My Witness News. Do you have our...
This
here we
is
go.
My Witness News. In no way, shape, or form fair, and certainly not balanced. And now, super producer to the stars, Barry Funkhauser.
That's fun. I have to get used to that.
So professional.
The Iowa caucuses begin tonight.
Trump is expected to win. Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders continue to be turkey neck and turkey neck. They are right there with each other. Despite the fact that they've pulled their own pranks on each other's campaigns recently. It's poor sportsmanship on behalf of the Democrats, and we'll talk about what was very interesting was the fact that Hillary did this to Bernie, and Bernie's campaign went, oh, that's a sad state of affairs that she'd find that necessary. And then they did the same thing to her. What is it? And we'll talk about it later. What else is going on?
Well, today's the beginning of Black History Month, February 1st.
Or as Oscar voters call it, February.
Oh.
Go on.
A man dressed as Superman stopped a robbery in England.
Very impressive stuff. I saw this. Yeah. Superman costume, not exactly the super fit that we're talking about here. But he stopped a robbery dressed as Superman. Meanwhile...
Stop right there.
Yeah.
I'm Superman.
I'm Clark Kent, I am. Meanwhile, a man dressed as one of the Fantastic Four was ignored. Go on.
Scientists have found a way to trick you into eating less pizza.
You know, and if we have time, we'll get into that.
I need to know all about that, actually.
Yeah. It's an interesting mental trick that you play on.
It sounds
yourself.
like the work of Satan, but I want to eat more pizza.
You know, I was thinking about this the other day. That pizza has an interesting you have an interesting relationship with the number of slices of pizza you eat. Because I love pizza. And after slice 1, oh man, I really love pizza and I want a second slice. After slice 2, I've had just enough pizza and I still love pizza. But when slice 3 and perhaps slice 4 and maybe even slice 5 come along, if it's that thing where a pizza gets delivered, we get a pizza delivered every single Friday during football season as part of a promotion we're doing. And you just kind of sort of okay, well, it's, it shows up at around 2 and, Friday's a long work day. If I get out of there at midnight on a Friday, I'm lucky. So the pizza shows up around 2. You have a slice, maybe 2, and that's just enough. And then you have another slice or 2, and that's okay. Anyways, bottom line, after slice 1, I love pizza. After slice 3, I still love pizza, but after slice 4, not only do I hate pizza, but I hate myself.
Okay. Gibberish, chatter, gushing, chewing the fat, and running off at the mouth. A cacophony of psychobabble and mindless conversations. Now, more AD on the radio.
Back once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving you a musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD again. Nobody rock a party better than me. Back once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving you a musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD again. Nobody rock a party better than me.
Alrighty then, we're going to get into the dirty Democratic tricks that Sanders and Clinton are playing on each other in the run-up to the Iowa caucus in a little bit. Right now, though, let's continue to take a look at the events of today in our segment, My Witness News. What else, Funkhauser?
Well, Facebook has banned private gun sales on its site.
Yep. Yeah, you can no longer post a picture of your gun on Facebook and say, want to buy it? And get a buyer that way. I'm surprised. I thought you just couldn't sell stuff on Facebook in general. Have you ever tried selling anything?
No. How do you even... I don't get it.
I don't know. I guess if you've got a TV stand or something, or hey, I'm getting rid of this. Any of my friends want to buy it? That's very interesting because Facebook wants to control absolutely everything. Have you tried this Facebook Live thing yet, Funkhauser?
Not yet.
It's like Periscope, except for people watch it. It's it actually has viewers. Not to illustrate too big of a point, but Funkhauser and I are professional broadcasters. We have a built-in audience. We've got more followers on Twitter than most people tend to have, and more folks like us on Facebook than a lot of folks tend to have. It's just nature of our job. We're not showing off. It's just the thing. And when I do a Periscope thing, I'm going to walk Millhouse, well, let's go on Periscope. We're lucky, me and Millhouse, if we get sort of 50 viewers. That's a big deal. Big deal. And I felt really pathetic about it. And then I saw like Jim Gaffigan only had sort of like 250. And I was like, okay, that's all right then. So what Facebook Live is essentially it's like Periscope, but people actually watch it. Like I tried it the other day and it was crazy. And it's part of Facebook's desire to crush everyone else. Like that WhatsApp thing kind of got popular for a while. You tried that, Funkhauser?
Oh, yeah.
WhatsApp sort of, if you haven't tried it, allows you to make phone calls and have video chats and message people over this particular app. And I think they charged $1 a year for it. And it was really cool and really useful, especially if you communicate internationally a lot. And Facebook saw that and went, we now have the Facebook Messenger that does everything that does for free. Plus you can send, funny little GIFs of, ponies tap dancing and stuff. In addition to that, we win. So Facebook basically tries to crush absolutely anything and anyone that gets in its way, whether it's video streaming, whether it's video. It like went after YouTube. Now Facebook's full of videos that it didn't used to be full of. And they basically want to own everything so they can continue to harvest all the data from every person, offer every single service that every other app or website offers so that they can contain people. They don't want you to leave Facebook because they can collect your information and it's collect your habitual information, and they can continue to make the bazillions of dollars they do off of it. So one thing I'm really surprised with, though, is that they've never gone after eBay. There's not like a Facebook sales thing. There's not like a Craigslist version of a Craigslist portion of Facebook where people go to buy, sell things, maybe rent a new house. It's an interesting one, and I bet that might be something that they look at down the road. But for now, Facebook has banned private gun sales on its site. I was trying to deal with the updated version of my Facebook app the other day, and I think that's unfortunate because it definitely makes me want to shoot someone. Go on.
There's more news. Did I tell you about all the news that there's more news?
Yeah.
Cyndi Lauper is releasing an album of classic country songs.
What?
Yeah, buddy.
Why do people get old and go country?
I really want it. Didn't what's his name just come out with one too? Guy from Aerosmith.
Aerosmith did one. I think the guy from Poison did one. It's just like as you get older, you go country for whatever the hell reason. I think the only person who's really done it and done it like to a point where he's been accepted by the country community was that guy from Hootie and the Blowfish, Darius Rucker or whatever his name is. He's pretty much the only one that did it and stuck with it. Everybody else has a little dalliance with it. And I know for a fact that the country music community doesn't appreciate it. Like just because you're Steven Tyler doesn't mean that you're suddenly country. Yeah. Stop. But Cyndi Lauper did it. Cyndi, the quintessential New Yorker Lauper, did it. Releasing an album of classic country songs. Girls Just Want to Sell Out. Go on.
Cindy Crawford will retire when she turns 50 in a few weeks. Big 5-0.
Big 5-0. Reach for comment. The folks over at Photoshop said, it's about time. Getting tired. Does she still look awesome? I mean, she's Cindy Crawford.
Sure, yeah.
Says her modeling days are over. Yeah, I don't know. She looks good to me. I think this is a pretty recent photo. But, I mean, why would she want to continue working, at that sort of thing? I would imagine, I would hazard a guess that there's all sorts of avenues open to her. And isn't she, married to a billionaire? I believe she is. Who's she married to, Funkhauser?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't been keeping track of Cindy Crawford. You can ask my mom if you want to. She is married to Richard. Well, she was. Rand Gerber?
Randy Gerber. Yeah.
Who's that?
Well, I think he's the heir to the Gerber baby food fortune.
Oh, you're darn right.
So why would she continue to work?
Does he?
Answer.
Here comes the airplane.
All right, go on. What else?
Phil Collins has gotten back together with his ex-wife 8 years after they divorced.
Yeah. Phil Collins went through some weird stuff a little while ago. He was giving away he's one of the biggest collectors of I think it was American history memorabilia. And he had all this Alamo stuff and he gave it back to the Alamo. he was giving his stuff away. He announced his retirement from music. He was basically taking himself out of the game. He was depressed. He couldn't play the drums anymore. Like, a Genesis reunion was off the table because of some sort of condition he has with his arms where he can't play drums. But people were like, come on, Phil, you could just sing. He's like, no, I'm sad. I'm giving up on everything. And now he's back with his ex-wife, and he's, out of retirement. I think our friend Christian James Hand, that was on the show the other day, is going to be interviewing him sometime this week on the other station he works for. So, yeah, it's kind of cool. And Christian's English, a drummer, and into Genesis, so he's fangirling
Trifecta.
like you wouldn't believe. Yeah, totally. But Phil Collins is back up in the game, and a lot of people are attributing it to the fact that he's gotten back together with his ex-wife, and this was a good relationship for him to be in. So, yeah. 8 years after they divorced, they're back together. I believe friends say their reconciliation came against all odds, but I guess they just had two hearts believing in just one mind. And now that they've managed to find a groovy kind of love, every day is going to be another day in paradise.
Well, it's a new one. Here I come again, coming again, taking it back to the place where I'm picking up the pen.
There's something happening here, and you should know what it is. The Dumbing Up of America. Now, more AD on the radio.
Oh my God. I just got an email from Jeanette Rubio, Marco Rubio's wife.
Oh, by the way, did you see who favorited our tweet?
No, who did?
David Spade. Boom, bang, right there.
Boom. Oh, no kidding.
You got a little favorino from our friend there. Yeah, all righty,
how about
man.
that?
It's
Nice.
good. What other email did you get now there?
From Marco Rubio's wife, Jeanette Rubio.
I can't place her. Is she a hottie?
Is that what we care about now? Is that what American politics has come to? You know, what's interesting, though, is people talk about whether or not someone's wife is hot. And it's almost like if your wife is too hot, they're going to hold that against you. You know? Like, remember McCain left one wife and he had this smoking hot wife that was way younger than him. And people went like, I don't know. What kind of integrity does he have that he married a really hot woman? And then there was even an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm about this where David... I want to say David Spade because, he favorited our tweet and we're now fangirling. But no, there was an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm where Larry David meets someone and he decides he's trustworthy because his wife is kind of frumpy and not so hot. And he figures, he must have fantastic integrity if he stayed with that woman for all these years. It's weird. So it's almost like as a politician's wife, you can't be too hot. And if you are hot, you have to sort of you have to dial it back a little bit. But no, Marco Rubio's campaign just sent me an email asking for money. And you know what's interesting? Like all these, I don't know how I get on these lists and I unsubscribe because, I really don't need these. I don't want to be panhandled, by politicians. Thank you, but no. But yet I can't get off their list. Herman Cain from the last election. I'm still on Herman Cain's list. I've unsubscribed from that thing so many times. I get spammed by Herman Cain nonstop. I remember...
You still ordering pizza online? That might be it.
It's funny because there's things that I actually really, really liked about Rand Paul. Stuff that I had huge problems with as well, but there's stuff that I really liked about Rand Paul. And I somehow, again, didn't sign up for it, got on his mailing list, and here he is, constantly asking me for money. And everybody else. And you notice that it keeps coming from different email addresses. As you block one email address, they get another one, and it's just at Gmail, at Yahoo, at whatever. They find different ways to get around the spam filter in your email and panhandle consistently. And I remember there was if you donate to Rand Paul's campaign, you are automatically entered to win an AR-15 with Rand Paul's signature engraved into it. I was like, come on, man. Come on. That's really? If you donate to my campaign, you're entered into a drawing to win an AR-15? Get real. And you know what blows my mind is Ted Cruz. I got tons of emails from him. And by the way, this happens on both sides of the political fence. I think I'm a little bit more right-leaning, or at least I'm perceived as being a little bit more right-leaning based on some of the radio stations that I'm on. So I tend to get hit up by more right-wing politicians asking me for money, and I don't know how they figure it out. But anyways, it's been primarily right-wing politicians that have been hitting me up for money. And the Ted Cruz campaign keeps sending me these emails being like, I'm in dire straits. I'm under attack by the New York Times. There's no way I can compete against all of this, blah, 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 blah. Cut to Ted Cruz raises record amounts of money. He was just, all the tone of all the emails was just like, I'm broke. Oh, alackaday forsooth. Oh, woe is me. America doesn't stand a chance unless you contribute to my money bomb. And that's what they call them, money bomb. Anyways, I just got an email from Jeanette Rubio. Listen to how this starts out. Friend, I didn't tell Marco that I was going to send you this email, but I felt it was so important to reach out to you today. By the way, I want to make this crystal clear. None of what I'm saying has anything to do with my feelings toward any particular candidate, but it has a lot to do with the tremendous amounts of chagrin I feel toward campaign finance and how I think it's a crock, absolutely across the board. It's a crock, whether it's getting funding from special interest groups or whether it's panhandling for money from individuals like this. But I mean, listen to this was obviously a calculated thing, and it starts with a lie. Friend, I didn't tell Marco that I was going to send you this email, but I felt it was so important to reach out to you today. Marco needs our support now more than ever. He has been fighting around the clock for your vote, and the primaries are finally here. With the Iowa caucuses happening today, the actions we take right now will determine who succeeds going forward. Every dollar you can afford to donate today will immediately go towards Marco's get out the vote efforts and ensure that he has the votes needed to win. Do you want to donate $5, $10, $15, $25? And there's a link to everything. Will you please chip in $25 or whatever you can afford to share right now? No, bite me. You guys are living high on the hog. Like, all of you have very nice living situations. And you know what? Like, I get it. You want to go after the individual. You want the people to support your campaign. Well, if you want my money, then don't take money from anybody else. If you want the support of individual voters, then stop taking money from large groups and corporations and special interest groups that are going to demand that you pay them back. Or if I want my $25 back that I donate to Marco Rubio's campaign, I want it freaking back. I want something worth $25. You know what? If you're going to pay all those other pipers, you pay me, the voter that you asked for money in the first place. Everybody can suck it. This stuff makes me so angry. Literally, I got this email right while I'm on the air, and it's just like I see red with this crap. Dear friend, I didn't tell Marco I was going to send you this email. Oh, it's the lies that caused the cancer. What the hell? All right, where were we, Funkhauser? I honestly can't remember. Seriously, what? David Spade favorited our tweet. Good for us.
Yeah, that happened.
That's the thing. That happened.
You want me to talk
How
about...
much time?
Well, we got like 7 minutes here. I can
minutes.
Continue with the news, or
yeah, let's do just a couple more pieces of news, and then we'll get into the dirty tricks that Democrats are playing on each other.
You know who Black China is?
Yeah, she's that large-bootied piece of celebrity skank with giant fake cans that, let's be real here, is in her own way quite easy on the eyes. That is currently dating Rob Kardashian.
Well, she got arrested at the Austin airport for public intoxication this past Friday.
Yeah, I saw that. Also, by the way, she spells her name Blaccyna, so I believe she was also charged for unconscionable crimes against spelling and grammar. Go on.
Kanye West denied Amber Rose's tweet saying he'd like to be touched in the butt area.
Oh, I like how you danced around that.
Can you just take us back?
So what happened was that Kanye West has an album called Waves. I think he changed the name of his album to Waves, which is Waves is sort of like a type of hip hop music. It refers to a type of delivery in the vocal where you're sort of like melodic as well as just rapping. There's a melody to it. There's notes and stuff. So the guy who is pretty much considered to be the founder of Waves is in prison. And what's his nut? Wiz Khalifa, who I think was married to Amber Rose for a second, didn't like the fact that Kanye is using Waves as the title of his new album because he feels like it's biting off the guy that's in prison and can't stick up for himself. So it erupted into an all-out Twitter war. And I think Kanye said something like, "At least I didn't let a stripper trap me," referring to the fact that he got Amber Rose pregnant and now they're divorced and forever he has to give Amber Rose money. And Amber Rose weighed in and, again, how can I illustrate this? Amber Rose got into this Twitter battle and said something to Kanye about, "I bet you miss me pleasuring you in an interesting area that is not necessarily in the hip-hop community regarded to be the most manly way to get busy in the sack." Does that make sense?
I got it.
Yeah, okay. But Kanye is denying that. And it's funny, as soon as Amber brought that up, he was like, "Oh, everything's all love. We're all good. We're all friends now." Like, Kanye retracted his statement the moment she brought up that. He doesn't want to talk about it. He's anxious to put it all behind him. Go on.
Whoa, man. Whoa. The SAG Awards were held on Saturday?
Yeah. Susan Sarandon was there with her 69-year-old rack on full display. And, you would have thought that age 69, something like that would have gotten a SAG Award. I don't think so. It looks like everything is incredibly defiant of the force of nature known as gravity. Good job, Susan Sarandon. But yeah, the SAG Awards went down Saturday night. Leonardo DiCaprio won for Best Actor. I think he hopes that now he has the award, women will finally find him attractive.
Better luck next year.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk a little bit about the caucusing that's happening tonight.
Watch your mouth.
So Bernie Sanders supporters, this is what they're doing. They're urging Iowa caucus goers to back Martin O'Malley. Now, if you say who, you join the rest of the country because Martin O'Malley is sort of like the guy that's in third place, but it's a very, 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 very distant third place in terms of Democrats seeking the Democratic nomination for president. He's way, way far behind. And so to kind of split the vote and divert support away from Hillary, Bernie Sanders supporters are urging caucus goers to go back Martin O'Malley as part of a strategy after Sanders' camp fully bashed Hillary Clinton's campaign for using the same political tactic. See, the hypocrisy is rife here, but the strategy basically is one where you're trying to make O'Malley a quote-unquote viable candidate. Look, Clinton is going to probably earn the majority of delegates, and robbing her of delegates that would help her take the state and leaving an opening for Sanders to eventually win the most delegates is what they're trying to do by saying, like, if you're not going to vote for Bernie, if you're not with Bernie, be with O'Malley. And Clinton's campaign doing the same thing, trying to rob Sanders of the votes he needs to win in Iowa by making O'Malley a viable candidate in certain precincts. And he's just kind of happy to be there, I think, at this stage in the game. No one's expecting anything from O'Malley. In the past, I think a lot of people called politics a game of strategy. A lot of people thought politics was like chess. And this year, I think a lot of folks are saying it's more of a dull calculus problem like you would do in AP algebra in high school. Folks over at BuzzFeed published this thing this past Saturday, just gone by, saying that stumpers supporting Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton have been directing voters who can't commit to their candidate to former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley in Iowa. And like we said, this is an effort to take votes away from Clinton's biggest opponent, Bernie Sanders. And this is not a new strategy. This is by no means a new strategy. It's been used in the past by lots of candidates facing Iowa's very complex caucus system. And it is, how much time do we have here, Funkhauser?
30.
Also known as not enough time to get into the complex caucus system in Iowa.
Oh,
but it'll be interesting to see what happens. It'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow after the Iowa caucuses. And given the fact that both Clinton and Sanders are directing people that don't want to get behind them to O'Malley, I think all this running around, all this political strategy will again result in them being, as we said before, turkey neck and turkey neck.
Feel like it's cool to turn the other cheek and give people the benefit of the doubt even when they don't deserve it.